everyone, and welcome to the Reach New Heights podcast experience, episode 72. And on today's show, we have a very special guest, my mum. Hey everyone, I just want to thank you all once again for joining me on today's podcast. I have a very special guest, my own mother, and over the next coming weeks, we will have a lot of special guests ahead, and I think it's so interesting for all the dancers and all the parents who will be watching. And I thought, well, why not start with my own mother, because she has been there, she has done it, she's got the best experience in the dancing world, being a dance mum with me and my two older sisters. So I thought it'd be great so that you can help all the parents out there as well. It might be an interesting one. I don't know if she's actually going to tell the truth about me and my dramaness when I dance. So finger crossed she doesn't say too much. So what we're going to do is just basically help everybody at home with all the parents. So before we even actually get into it, Mum, tell everyone, how did I even get into Irish dance?
I would say you were about five whenever you got into it. Yourself and your two sisters were out playing in the street. A new neighbour had moved in with a beautiful baby girl. Being typical wee girls, went over and were talking into the pram, and then you proceeded to come in and tell me and Dad that the lady you were speaking to is an Irish dance teacher and that she has a local class and you just wanted to go to. Mm-hmm. So me and Dad thought for about 2 seconds, no, we'll get rid of them for a couple of hours. Decided to let you go. So Dad brought you up, and then he collected you, brought you home, and you the bug a bit. You loved it. Loved it.
No way. And little did you know, like, after all those years, we would be at the Worlds every year, winning world titles and everything else. It's crazy.
Totally unexpected. I thought it would be a hobby, and it turned into life-changing for the whole family.
No way.
Yeah.
And then we just kept going every week?
Every week, every time there was a fish, we were there. That was it. Every weekend we were at a fish. Yeah.
So quickly.
Packed the car. Didn't have, what do you call that? Google. The Google
Maps.
Oh, yeah. Got a big map of Ireland, headed towards where we thought the fish was, and asked everybody along the way.
Yeah. I'm sure so many parents actually relate to that.
Yeah, it was
from
fun.
So long ago. And then that was it. That's how I got hooked in Irish dance, and then obviously my two sisters and so on. And then I feel it's very crazy. I remember little bits, like going into the dance class and stuff like that, but not that much. Was there any difference did you see any difference between me and my two older sisters, you know?
Well, yeah, because the other two girls started a bit later. You were 5 to 6 whenever you went to first class. But you always had a confidence about you. You always volunteered to be first, or volunteered to do a step, or volunteered for everything. I just remember being at the first fish with the 3 girls. We're having the 4 children. Then we had obviously Nathan with us as well. He was
who's my younger brother,
who was in the pram beside us. As sure many mummies know, you have to keep them entertained. But I remember your first light round. You went up side stage, and that was you. As soon as you were on stage, you had, I think, 2 teeth missing at the front, but you didn't care. You smiled away, and you done your light round, and it was really good. And I was all pleased with you. And you came down. I think I was maybe doing something with the baby, and I turned around. Your heavies were gone, and Lauren was gone. You were back up side stage, and there was still another 30 dancers. I was like, obviously she's confident, but to be back up before the next round for anybody.
So how old was I?
6, literally. Yeah. Like you were just
goodness.
this is what I'm doing, and that was it.
So you can tell maybe if your child is cocky, cheeky, or dominant for me to run backstage. So yeah, that shows a lot. I feel like even when I do my workshops or I see a kid, that when can I dance in front of Lauren again, or when can I come up again, to have that little spark inside them.
Yeah, I think just love it. And it just shows. You can say that.
Yeah, definitely. So that was the difference you saw between me and Trina. We was a bit more me, Katrina and Jennifer.
Yeah, Katrina and Jennifer. They were a bit older. I think it was a bit awkward for them when they were going into class at the beginning, whereas you had no filters. You just went in and went for it.
Yeah, it's a great thing, especially being young. You actually don't think. You don't have to think when you're young. What about growing up more into it? When did you start to see a difference when my results were a bit different? Even though they were at Worlds every year and champ level and everything else.
Yeah. We're having the 3 girls. The 2 girls, thank God, always qualified every year and won the Worlds. But You know what
Went to the Worlds. Did you say won the Worlds?
Went to the
Oh,
Worlds.
went to the Worlds.
Wish they had if one had been flat.
3.
No, they would have went to the Worlds, qualified for the Worlds. But I just find with you would have practiced that wee bit longer. The girls would have stopped their practice a wee bit and started with you because they just seen something in you as well. I think your own teacher's seen that as well because they'd have held you back and done a wee bit of extra work with you. Mm-hmm. And as a child, you just think, oh, I love this.
On,
yeah, you knew there was something. I think just your stage presence helped a lot as well.
Yeah, so you knew the difference that I was working a bit different than what the girls were, and then my sisters almost seen a talent in me that they started putting their focus into me. But I remember you saying as well that they loved the whole social side as well. And
they did, yeah. I think, see, for any parent, it is priceless. The confidence it gives your child, the experiences, the places that they would never see before, and having lifelong friends. You know, you take the good with the bad. There's going to be, it's not all plain sailing, and by no means was it all plain sailing with you. Just one example, we were to fish, and I think you'll remember this, and you'd get, I think you must have been 8 or 9, and you'd get placed first, and you got your sight, and you got everything, and you were in your box, and I would say it was about a half an hour later, we were all celebrating, you know, delighted for you.
So I won?
You won, but it was about 45 minutes later, we were told that no, the results were wrong, that you came second, but they had to do the presentation again on stage, obviously for the child that won. So whenever you went back up, I thought, how's she going to handle this? You know, being so young and being from a high down to second place is amazing, but I think it was just
thinking from winning to
not winning. So whenever you went back on stage, I just cried like any mum would, because your heart was broke just for you to be a bit, not the teachers that run the fish didn't make you humiliated. They were like, Lauren's one of them things. They were lovely. Couldn't, say anything about them. You went on stage, you went back up, called on second place. I'm getting very emotional thinking about you. Second place, and then you just smiled the whole way.
No way, I'm going to start you off now.
No,
Wait till we get into the Worlds and everything.
I
know, I think that's one thing I remember as well. And guys at home, I'm not a parent yet. Please, one day I will be and so on. But I think it's a whole different roller coaster as a parent, because even if me and mum sit back and think about my world titles and so on, I cry, she cries, everybody cries, but because everything's go, 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 you don't have time at that moment. And I actually do remember this, but one thing that my parents taught me was always be humble, never take anything for granted. And I actually remember this, and I knew, well, it's not that bad, but I think I was a bit embarrassed going, oh my God, I just stood in first place with the first place size and first place, that I had to get it all changed over. And the bumps and journey, like the hills and bars I've came across, all those times that, I never won, or I was so close, almost close, I was so close. I was always stood on the box, smiling ear to ear, right or wrong.
You did.
No matter what.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was a key, that everybody who ever followed me or watched my journey, no matter what result, if I should have got it, if I shouldn't have, I always had a smile in that box. And congratulate the people around me. And you have to be humble and respectful to your other dancers and appreciate their great dancing as well. So I think that was a really, really good point.
It was, and it stood by you, because even though you'd won the Worlds a couple of times at this stage.
This was I was a child.
When you were a child.
Yeah, no, that scenario was me being a child.
Oh, sorry, yes, when you're a child, but I'm saying it stood by you the whole, your whole dancing career. It stood by you.
Definitely. I think it's, definitely. I think because the journey was so hard to get there that you still knew.
Yeah.
Another great thing was, even in the middle of winning the Worlds, to say it was my second world title, I would never have put my hard shoes on before the recalls come out. People are like, oh my God, you're winning this today, or oh my God, Lauren, you've nailed those 2 rounds, get your heavies on to, you're getting a recall and whatever. And I'm like, nope, until my number gets called out, then I'll put my hard shoes on. And same with results, if it's 100's going across the board, I know, oh my God, I might drop the knot, I might get a 3, I might get a 5, so people were like, oh my God, Lauren, you're winning. I was like, no, until my name is called first place. And we were always like that. No matter if I was on a roll for years and winning everything, we were...
No, you just be grateful for what you got. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Another great pointer that a lot of parents ask me, oh my God, all the time is, how did you and Dad afford it all. Having me, my two older sisters going to Worlds every year, my nationals, Great Britain's, all Scotland's, British nationals, whatever it may be, you took us everywhere and you both work full time and like any other parent is at the minute. Like, how did you actually make it work?
Well, as you just said, I worked full time. I worked full time. Daddy worked full time. And if there's any other overtime, he'd have done overtime so we could get the fascias. I think a lot of it went on, to be truthful, the house probably was a bit neglected. You know, all the sort of things that you'd love to do, your new cities, your new kitchens, all went on a back burner for at least 15 years. And any extra money was put into the kids, but you know, it's payback. It's amazing what you've done and what the rest of the family has done so far. This up to now is amazing.
So basically what you're saying is you just make it work.
Yeah, you do. And it's your kids. It goes past in a blink of an eye. And to have that relationship of travelling with your kids, of you being there for every amazing moment or every sad moment that you're there as a parent to pick them up, it's priceless, yeah.
I remember as well, we shared a lot of like accommodations now and again. Did that help at all?
Yeah. I'm laughing because I'm sure a lot of parents have done exactly the same. So whenever you're in, obviously, an Irish dance, you always have one or two parents that you're really close to and their kids get on with your kids. So we used to be a wee bit short if it came to some big competitions. And maybe 2 or 3 of the mums booked a room in a hotel and we had, say, 6 kids between us, all staying. So whoever danced the following morning got the bed, everybody else was put on the floor and wrapped in blankets. But the laughs and the memories was amazing. And to this day, every time I still meet up with the mums and the kids who were involved then, the first thing we talk about is, do you remember? I think we all do the same throughout the years.
So I think it's a really good concept. I know a lot of people struggle with money because Irish dance is a really expensive sport. So there's a great example, you know, yes, my mum and dad worked full time, my daddy done overtime, so every penny was pumped into me and my other 2 sisters. And then what saved our health was, you know, when you're close and have that amazing friendship with other people and parents, it's an amazing idea, guys, to get ahead and focus on what's coming up and everybody bunking in or sharing a house or sharing an Airbnb, or, you know, there is ways around it just to make it work financially as well. I think it's it's tough, but you just make it happen. And then, I think it's a really, really good point. So yeah, no, that's really, really great. And then the other things I wanted to ask you was just regarding being a mum in a position of, it was really, really exciting. I'm not saying it wasn't exciting, but me as a beginner, intermediate, going right up towards the top, you as a parent, did you feel different than whenever I was maybe getting like top 5 or reaching the top? Did you not enjoy it as much? I mean, did you love it? Sorry, was it a different concept, you being a parent of a world champion? Because obviously it's harder to maintain.
Yeah, very much so. I think whenever you're young, you really enjoy it. You love seeing the confidence of the kids getting up. And I mean, I remember I think it was like highly recommended and all you got, and you were like, yes, they've got a wee medal, they've got a bit of paper to take home to their grandparents. But I think as you started winning, the enjoyment came out of it a bit because it was a lot of pressure on you, and I could feel that pressure. Mm-hmm. Obviously, as a family, your dad and all, and I think we just tried to be there to encourage you and to keep you motivated, because when you get to that level, the people, I don't want to get into too much of it, but there's people that you thought were your best friends seem to drop you or lose you. You seem to lose friends when you get to that level. So the people that surround you and stay with you are your people that you've met for life in Irish dancing.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a part of every life. Mm-hmm. Like, once you become successful or grow up or whatever, it's you see that, you know, who's going to be with you throughout the whole thing. Yeah. Did you feel more stress? What was the difference between not being at the top and being at the top?
Not being at the top was more enjoyable, and it was great, you know, enjoyable, but not always enjoyable, you know, as in, it was a hard road. Along the way there was a lot of bullying and a lot of things you'd go through that you know. And to get there was amazing.
I know what you mean. And you're going to get emotional again?
Again, I'm like tiny tears.
Here we go, tiny tears. Cut. I'm joking. Yeah, definitely, like, guys, I think I told you this before as well. Like, I had a hard barrier head and going through different types of bullying, whether it was inside class or outside class or whatever it may be. And it all gets sorted either way, but trying to retain a title, trying to work hard and have other kids be jealous of you or say these things, whatever, mental block. I got so much stronger. Yes, it was so hard. I might have phoned my mummy during dance class and my teachers didn't know or whatever it may be, that once it was ironed out, I battled through that And the only way to get them all away was to be successful and win and get everybody else to be quiet, you know.
Probably drove you on as well.
Definitely, it did drive me on, but it did make class sometimes a little bit harder. But I think the outcome with that was it makes you 10 times stronger and you just go up. And like I says, I was a very humble champion, very silent champion. I just let the dance and do the talking and went up and won and did what I have to do. But my teachers had the best teachers in the world and they made me feel like I could walk on water and they were just unreal. And I think once I got that concept of them making me feel like that, we were on a roll because I'd say the last few years of the Worlds was probably the best years in the dancing school, family, friends, and we just all had a ball every single year at the Worlds. It was the best. Now my mummy's not saying she's raging I'm a world champion or won the Worlds 6 years. She just means that it was unreal. Obviously, when in the first 2 or 3, what we're saying is like 3, 4, 5, 6 gets a bit scary and like I'm sure you would all agree the pressure and everything, it does get very intense, but I done it and I made it work.
Yeah, and it's not even just on parent stuff, because when I think of your dance teachers, I mean, their faces, they knew that they'd done everything with you, then they were absolutely amazing. But I mean, I think they felt the pressure as well, because we have to keep her here.
Yeah.
So they were always,
under that pressure and feeling sick.
Oh, I don't know how they done it either. Yeah.
Another thing, guys, as we're coming to the end of our fantastic podcast show, what I'm going to do and Robert's going to do is over the next coming weeks when we have special guests on, we're going to ask them one final question because I think it's so important to end it on a very, very great question. So, Mum, my question to you is, I'm going to go back and do another world title.
What?
Back for the 7th.
Definitely
no. Joking. So my last question is,
I want to go for that. Get over that, yeah.
What advice would you give parents at home that are getting into the Irish dancing world, if their child has just started Irish dance? What would your advice be?
There's probably 2, and just off the cuff, it's a very expensive sport, but the rewards are priceless, as in the confidence it gives the kids, the friends they meet, the places they go. That is amazing, no matter what result they get. Mm-hmm. You can't change them. That is fantastic, and it is stood by use. The second would be, I do not know how teachers that are parents, how they can cope with their children, but they do an awesome job. I do not know how they could do it.
So you mean like a teacher side?
Oh yes, yeah. As in, being the parent and being a teacher.
Oh, sorry.
But what I'm trying to say is I was a parent of dancers and of a world champion. So I said the parent and let the teachers do the teaching. I think that's a big thing, Let they know what they're doing, they're trained for this. Let them, because I think as a mum, I sort of always stood back and was there as a parent and let them do the job. And they've done a brilliant job with you. I'm very proud of you.
I think, guys, that's a fantastic key. I think that's a fantastic point that Mummy just made towards the end of that regarding just be a parent and just be there for your child through the highs and through the lows. And that's it. Let the dance teachers do their jobs. So thank you so much for coming on the show after me begging how many weeks?
Under protest.
And she actually thought I was joking about this, so it did take a while to get her on this. But guys, I want to thank you all at home for, of course, taking time out of your busy schedule to listen to the podcast or to watch this podcast. So thank you guys so much, and make sure you tune in to Robert's next podcast.